Hey guys, VFX Bro here, and welcome to the second tutorial in our After Effects series on making someone buff. Here we have the shot of Zach, and we're going to be working on the chest and the biceps, the delts, the traps, and making them all look bigger. Last tutorial we got a chance to make the abs look more defined, but we're going to move on to some other techniques here in After Effects and Mocha. So we have the shot here of Zach. And what we're going to do is use a similar technique to make the chest bigger. We have here this shot of this chest, and we're going to get right into it here. First, we're going to take the chest, and we want to line it up with Zach's pecs here. And now this technique may take some time, but I found after doing some research that it's actually one of the more accurate, more realistic ways of enhancing muscles. There's some other tutorials out there that also achieve a similar effect, but not quite as realistic as this technique. At least that's what I thought. I don't know if you think they're better, then that's cool. But I'm gonna show you how to do it this way. So we're gonna take this chest shot and match it up to Zach's chest. We have it turned here, and now what I'm gonna do is go into my colorama and add that effect on top. Now I'm going to go to my output cycle. I'm moving a little bit fast here because we use the same technique for the abs. Make this darker and make this completely white. And I'm going to take this and drag it all the way till this part of his chest matches up. Right around there looks solid. So I have that. And with that colorama effect, what I can do now is actually I'm going to move to the end here because that's where I want the chest to actually match up. I can rotate this again till it matches up. Maybe extend it a little bit. There we go. And I just moved to the end of the shot because we are not going to want his chest to get big till the end of the shot. And now what I can do is use my puppet tool. I'm going to add a little puppet right there on the nipple. And add some puppet tool stuff right here. And then I can take one here where the armpit should be and extend it out so that his chest is extended the way it would be in real life. That looks awesome. And maybe we want to even not crunch this as much so that we can see all of the shading going on in the middle. We're not going to worry about the right side because our shading is pretty bad there. We probably won't even use that side of the chest. We might just copy the middle. Okay, so that looks good. And now I'm going to hit Command-Shift-C to pre-compose this. Move all attributes. And I'm going to just call it chest pre-comp. Okay, we've got that. And now, again, I'm going to select it to multiply. I'm going to draw a mask around the chest here, and there we have the chest. And now I'm going to hit MM twice and bring up the feather, maybe 12. That's pretty solid. Okay, so I'm going to tint it. Tinting usually helps, so tint, grab the black color and set that to the same color of his armpit. And now I can go and back into my curves and maybe even my fast blur. Bringing my fast blur, let's try 2. 2 looks pretty good, maybe 1.5. Maybe 1. Okay. So we have the chest added in there. And you know, I might want to have a little bit more shading underneath. I can go back into my colorama and adjust from here the amount. Maybe we want more shading like that. There we go. That's a little better. A little more realistic. So we have that chest muscle added on. We can take a look at the before and after here. Definitely some definition being added in there. And we might want to bring up the green a little bit too. Just tad. Okay. So there we have the chest added in. And we can repeat the same technique for the other side. But first, what I want to do is go here into Mocha Pro. And I've already tracked this shot. If you don't know how to track it, just watch the previous tutorial. I actually have probably about 5 tutorials on how to use Mocha. And I'm going to select export tracking data and just the standard After Effects corner pin, copy to clipboard. Then go back here into Mocha, go layer, new, null object, and I'm going to go to our first frame and hit Command V to paste it on. I'm going to go back to this frame where our chest has been lined up. I'm going to parent it to that null object, and I'm going to call this null object chest track. And now our chest is tracking on there. Looks good. Again, if you want to learn how to remove these X's, then just watch the previous tutorial on how to do that. So we have the chest lined up, but we want to make it even bigger. So now to make the other chest, what I would just do, I'm not going to go into it, but I would just duplicate this, go into my scale, unlink the scale, and there I would have my other chest. I would change the anchor point to this. Okay, so I have both the pecs in there, and I could bring down the opacity a bit. They're looking a little bit harsh. Bring it down right about there. There we go. Now I can take a look at these chests, turn them on and off. You can see we have that definition added in there, which definitely helps. We're going to manipulate the pixels here in a completely new and different way. And in order to do this, I'm going to use Mocha and this new preset plugin called Mocha Import Pro. If you don't have it, you can download it. There's a link in the description. However, if you don't have this plugin, you can still achieve this effect. It just won't be able to track on to anything that's moving. So it'll have to be for a still shot. So I'm going to go here into Mocha Pro, and I have this track shot of the chest. And before I move forward with this, we need to make sure we have this planar surface selected here, and we want to make sure that it's in a 16:9 shape and that it's covering the space that we want to modify. So we want to be modifying his entire chest here for the next shot. So I have this made into this rectangle of sorts that's pretty much 16:9 aspect ratio. And then by that I mean the size. We can see that it's shorter, about half the height that it is the width. And now after we've defined that area, we can then click export tracking data and make sure that we have the corner pin selected with Mocha Import, and we're going to hit save. We're going to call it chest. Hit save, overwrite file. Now I'm going to go back here into After Effects, and I'm going to select all these files that I've made here and hit Command Shift C to pre-compose them, and I'm going to call them chest. And now with that layer selected, I'm going to go Window, Mocha Import Plus. Again, if you don't have this, you can download it. There will be a link in the description on where to download that. And I'm going to load the chest text right here, hit OK. Then I'm going to go here into Stabilize Pre-Comp and hit Apply after I've moved this to my first frame. And now I can exit out of this. And now we have this shot here that's been cut out into the shape, the planar surface we had defined earlier. And I'm going to go here and bring the same shot underneath. We can see that they match up perfectly. Awesome. And now what I can do here is go into this shot and make some really cool adjustments. Because we can look here that it's been completely stabilized around the nipples, I can make some sweet adjustments. So I'm going to go here and type in warp, and I'm going to select my mesh warp, and I'm going to change this to, let's see how 4x4 works. I might want actually 6 rows, 6 columns, and we can go in here and make some adjustments. I'm going to go to my first frame here before he gets buff and select a keyframe on my distortion mesh. Now I can move here to where I want him to get buff and make these sweet adjustments. I'm going to make his back nice and thick, bring out his chest here, probably bring his chest down a little bit. This guy, make him a little wider. There we go. So it looks a little weird from this angle, but we can see that we've added some definite bulk to him. And this next step, what I'm going to do here now is create a new adjustment layer. And here we can add Bulge. Now I can take my Bulge, and I'm going to take the Bulge center and bring it right on this X. I'm going to make this circle larger. And I can change my bulge height if I want, make it thicker. We can see it's really adding some size to the pec. I'm going to take my taper radius, and I can adjust and fine tune how I want the fall off of this bulge to appear. But something like that looks pretty good. I can turn it on and off to see how it's added some size to his pec. Definitely made it look a little bit bigger. I can even continue to increase the size of the pec. There we go. Duplicate this bulge and drag it on here to the other pec. And this might be a little bit extreme. So we can turn that on and off and see how we've added this bulge here. Now I can go back into my original Zach comp, and we can see that Zach definitely has some muscle definition that's added. This is the before and after. Our bulges might be a little extreme. We could go back in if we wanted to, maybe change our height to half of that, so it's not quite as extreme, but we still have that definite muscle growth there. And if we play through this, we can see that it's all being tracked on. We can see the chest is tracking on nicely. Okay, I'm going to move on to the biceps here, which are a little bit more simple. We are going to move back here into Mocha Pro. We have this bicep here that we've tracked. Again, we're going to make sure we have this area defined into an area that's roughly 16 by 9. We're going to export our tracking data. Call this one right bicep. Go back here into After Effects, and we can call this layer right bicep. Go to our first frame and go Window, Mocha Import Plus, and again just load our data and select the stabilized pre-comp and apply it. And there we have the right bicep. Let's take a look here what happens when we double click. We have this pre-comp selected. It's been stabilized around this bicep. Really cool. We want the bicep to grow right here. So we're going to go in here to our mesh warps. There's other tools that we can use. We could use liquefy, we could use our bulge, but mesh warp allows you the most detail. I'm going to click on my distortion mesh, select a keyframe there, and then go here to where we can see them actually flexing, and just drag this out, bring out our tricep. Oh yeah. We can drag this around to make it nice and smooth. We could even drag this down and make it kind of lumpy, but we'll give them some admirable definition there, and drag this down. That looks pretty natural there. Now we'll go back to, and now we'll go here into our bicep, drag this out, and just pump it up. We'll bring this, and we'll even make some additions here to our deltoids. And there we go. We have our bicep and this that has been affected. And if we play through this, we can see it get bigger in front of our eyes. Now we'll go back here into the Zach comp, and we'll drag another shot underneath. We can see that it lines up perfectly, and we have the bicep growing, and the shoulder. The shoulder looks a little bit extreme, but whatever. And then we're just going to repeat the same process for the forearm and for the trapezius here. You can see that I tracked onto his neck here. If I were to do the same for his arm here, I would just drag this around here and track that forward. And then let's say we have all of our buffness completed. What we can do to add just a final little touch. And then let's say we have all of our buffness completed here. We're going to select all this, call it green screen, and then we're going to go here into our key light. And the reason we use the green screen is so that when we affect the shoulders and the biceps, our background isn't going to be distorted. We can't tell here because it's just a solid green. But if we had something like any sort of pattern in the background, then we'd be able to see it distorted as well. And obviously we don't want that because that makes it look super fake. So I'm going to turn off the preview here. And I'm going to green screen this. We're going to go here into our screen mat. We're going to clip off some more shadows there. We're going to bring up our gain. Take out those shadows behind him. And now we're just going to draw a nice mask around this green screen. So there we have Zach green screened out, and then we're going to go and add in our background shot here. And then now that he's green screen, we can even do some crazy stuff like changing his hue and saturation if we wanted to make him the Hulk. Let's bring up the saturation. Oh, there we go. He's the Hulk. Nuts. So all kinds of manipulations can be done here now that he's been green screened. And then something else we can do here to just give him a little bit more bulk. And kind of a funky effect here that we can add is CC glass. So I'm just going to type in glass. And at first, this is going to look really crazy. Oh, gosh. We're going to take off our specular here so we don't have the shiny mess. This looks nuts. And then I'm going to go here into my surface. And I'm going to change my displacement to something like 25. So let's take a look at the before and after. It just adds a little bit of bulkiness to everything. It even makes his face look like a slab of meat. He's just a meat. But this can be used to achieve some cool morphing effects. We can even make him skinnier if we wanted to bring it negative. Oh, that looks really crazy. Look at that. Look at that. Nuts. So the negative usually makes him skinnier, and the positive will make him look big, bulkier. And that is how you do it. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a comment on this video or on my Facebook page, facebook.com/VFXbro. This has been Aaron with another tutorial in After Effects. Until next time, take care.